Hello Beasley friends, welcome to another week of math. This week we're going to be talking about triangles. So this video will be about classifying triangles by angles. Our second video will be classifying triangles by sides. And then our last video will be finding a triangle's missing angle. So if we look at these triangles, we notice that there's some different things about them. They are different colors, but if we look, the angles are different. I see a right angle right here. I see an acute angle right here. And on this one, I see all acute angles. I also notice on this one, all the sides are the same length. But then if we look at some of these, the sides are different. So we're going to kind of dive into how can we classify triangles and kind of put them into groups. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to classify them by angles. Now, we've just recently talked about angles. So there's three important ones we need to know for this. We need to know our right angle, our obtuse angle, and our acute angle. And if you look at these angles, they're almost triangles. All we have to do is connect the 2 points on the outside. So if I go ahead and do this, now we have a right triangle. If I connect here, there's an obtuse triangle. And if we connect here, that would be an acute triangle. So now we're going to kind of dive into the specifics of each type of triangle. For our right triangle, we have to have one right angle and two acute angles. So right here's our right angle, and you'll notice the other two are acute. Sometimes we could wonder, why can't there be two right angles? It is a right triangle. Well, let me draw you a little picture. So it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try. So here's a right angle. If I was going to make another right angle, it would have to go directly up this way, like so. That's not a triangle. There's no way we could make a triangle with two right angles. So if you have a right angle, even if you have one long leg like that and one short one, when you connect, you still have two acute angles. So in order to be a right triangle, all you need is that one right angle. If you have one right angle, it's a right triangle. One thing that can sometimes trip us up about right triangles is if they're tilted, all of a sudden it doesn't seem like a right triangle anymore. But if we look closely, we'll see that this right here is a right angle. And you just kind of have to either tilt your head or look at it. You can use your protractor. You could use a piece of paper and you could kind of stick it in there. If it fits in perfectly in that corner, then you know it is a 90-degree angle. So I want you to be on the lookout. Even if it's tilted, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not a right triangle. You just kind of have to look at it a little closer. Let's go ahead and look at the obtuse triangle. Now for the obtuse triangle, you only need one obtuse angle. So you'll see here we have one obtuse angle, and again we have two acute angles here. This is very similar to the right triangle in the fact that it has one distinct angle and then it has those two acute angles as well. So if you see that obtuse angle right off the bat, you know it's an obtuse triangle. Obtuse triangles are kind of easy to spot because I think an obtuse angle is pretty distinct. So for the most part, these will be easy to identify. Let's look at the last type of triangle. Our last type of triangle is the acute triangle. The acute triangle has all acute angles. So every single angle is going to be less than 90 degrees. Now, we mentioned the two triangles before, right and obtuse. They do have two acute angles in them. However, in order to be an acute triangle, all three have to be acute. So really quickly, this is a right triangle, one right triangle, two acute. This is an obtuse, one obtuse angle, two acute. And this is an acute triangle, all angles are acute. Now, you could have more of a word problem situation where it might say something like this. A triangle has the following angles: 30 degrees, 50 degrees, and 80 degrees. How could you classify this triangle? Well, we have to use what we know about angles and we have to use what we know about triangles to figure this out. So I know 30 degrees is an acute angle because anything less than 90 is acute. 50 is also an acute angle, and 80 is also an acute angle because it's less than 90. So even if I just had these measurements, I would be able to figure out they're talking about an acute triangle. Let's go ahead and do some practice. So you're going to classify the triangle as right, obtuse, or acute. So I have two pictures, and then I have one where it just gives you the angle measurements and you can determine what type of triangle it is. So go ahead and pause your video and then play it to get the answers. All right, so our first orange triangle is acute. Every angle is acute in this one. Our second one is obtuse. We have one obtuse angle and the others are acute. And then our final one, we have that 90-degree angle, so it's automatically going to be a right triangle. I hope you enjoyed this video. Our next video is going to be on classifying triangles by their sides. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.